Hello and welcome back to the channel. Today we want to focus on the so-called frequently asked question about Italian citizenship by descent. A lot of time passed since the last video that you can also watch here if you want to take a look to the past question. So we want to share with you all the frequently asked questions that we almost every day receive about the process, with also related to the news that since the last month are applicable to the application for the Italian citizenship by descent. So we think it's really important to share with you because we are pretty sure that the question that we receive might be also a question that you may have and you want to ask. This is Marco Bersani as always from the Bersani Love Office from Italy, and do not lose any more time. Let's start. So today we want to start with four really frequent questions that we receive that also cover some important updates with the regulation, the recent regulation of Italian citizenship by descent. Question number 1. Hello, my mother was born in Italy. She came to the US in 1940 and she naturalized before my birth. Can I apply as my grandfather never came to the US but remained in Italy? So the answer of course is no, you cannot. This is something that we cover also in different past videos, so I suggest you to also watch all the videos as we posted about the citizenship by descent or the eligibility criteria, because when you want to apply for citizenship by descent, you need to locate the last Italian ancestor you have, in this case mother, and you need to check if the Italian ancestor naturalized before or after your birth. So if your mom naturalized before your birth, it means that you were born from an American mother, not an Italian mother. Your mother was not Italian anymore, so the line is broken and so you are not eligible for Italian citizenship by descent. The question number 2. My grandmother and grandfather came to the US in 1920. I found my grandmother was granted US citizenship automatically because my grandfather naturalized. Can I still use her for my application? This is a good question, and the answer is yes. So, to recap, we have two Italian ancestors, grandfather and grandmother. They both came to the US. Grandfather only naturalized as American citizen. Grandmother was granted American citizenship automatically via marriage. So the grandmother never naturalized. She never filed a declaration of intention, she never filed a petition, and so there's not an oath of allegiance that grandmother made to the US and so renunciates to Italian citizenship. So this is very, very important. And in this case, by the Italian legislation, so from our side, grandmother never naturalized, so she remained Italian, and so you can apply starting from your grandmother. Potentially might be a 1940 case, but it really depends on the various date of birth. Question number 3. I think I have a minor case because my grandfather naturalized when his son, so my father, was 4 years old. Can I still file my case? This is also a very good question. When we started to talk about the so-called minor cases, many people started to look at the family tree and discover to have a minor case. So briefly, very briefly, minor case refer to a case created very recently by the Supreme Court of Cassazione in Italy. It's a new interpretation that was made by this Court of Cassazione. This court says that when you have an Italian ancestor who had a child, for example, in the US, after that, the Italian ancestor naturalized, but the child was still minor, then the minor was affected also by the naturalization of the Italian ancestor, by the parent who naturalized. This is a new interpretation that was made by the Supreme Court and only by the Supreme Court, so this is something that now we need to pay attention on because it may affect potentially all the future cases. So the question is a very good question, and yes, here we have a minor case because the client said, my grandfather naturalized when his son was 4 years old, so the son was minor. In this case, we have a minor case. Can I still file my case? Well, this is really depends on your attorney. Right now, as we talk in other videos here, there's a recent video where we talk about some recent case that we won with a minor case. There are some courts that are still approving the minor cases, so the minor case is not necessarily a case that is automatically closed and automatically rejected by the court. But for the moment, there are no, statistics on all the courts. There are courts that are still approving, other courts that are not approving. For example, in Rome, if you file in Rome, which is the court that started actually to create the minor cases, then the court of Rome 100% will deny your case. So it really depends on the court, and it really depends on your immigration attorney. So you need to talk with your immigration attorney and evaluate with your immigration attorney if the attorney suggests you to file or not, also depending if there are judicial presence can be helpful for your case. So there is not a clear answer at this stage. We are filming this video on May 2024. Question number 4. I have some discrepancies on various names on the birth certificate and the consulate denied my case because of that. What can I do? Can I appeal? So here we have a case where the applicant decided to file himself an application to the Italian consulate, and the Italian consulate, I cannot say what consulate, but the Italian consulate denied the case by saying, well, there are some misspellings on the names, so you need to correct all the names. There are no way for us, they said, to be 100% sure that this is the same person. For example, you have a case where you have a birth certificate where it says John Smith, and in another documents the name completely different. In this case, it's difficult to say to you now if you can appeal or not. It seems not, because technically, by the law, the Italian consulate has full power of discretion to evaluate your application. So if the consulate say to you that they want everything correct, what you can do is to file an application which is correct. And for doing that, before filing the application, that's why it's also a good thing is to at least having a consultation call with an attorney before filing an application on your own to have all documents amended. You can do that by amending the vital records offices. Generally, it really depends state by state, so each country is different, but sometimes you can amend all documents, for example, by filing an affidavit for correction, but sometimes you need a court order to do that. So there's a judge that must be authorized and order the vital records to amend the documents to reflect all the aliases of the names. So basically you can correct all the old certificates to reflect all the discrepancies. So those are the most common questions that we really recently received, but there are really plenty of questions, and I'm pretty sure that we will do other videos by sharing with you some frequently asked questions about the process of citizenship by descent and also with other citizenship processes. So for the moment, we just share with you, also for not making a very long video. Of course, if you have other questions, something you want to ask, you can always contact us through the website. There's a contact form. You can use the contact form to contact us, and better, for sure, it's always better to book a consultation call, because we can talk directly with you. We can analyze your case. Of course, with a contact form, you cannot do that. So if you have some particular question, we always suggest you book a consultation call so we can take 1 hour to speak with you directly, to check your documents, reply to all your questions, and so to solve the situation. Thank you as always for your time, and see you on the next videos.